Git is an absolutely essential skill for every single software developer. There's no way that you can avoid using it. So today what I'm going to do is go over every single command that you need to know to use Git on a daily basis in a professional context. I'm not going to be going over every single command because that would be a 10-hour video, but I'm going to go over everything that you need for almost 100% of the time. So let's get started. Hello everyone and welcome back to the channel. So I'm going to assume that you already have Git installed. If you don't, then you can install it from the standard repos on your Linux distro, or if you're on Windows you can just go to the Git website and install it from there. I'll leave the link to that website in the description below. So the first command we're going to go over is git init. So git init lets us create a Git repo. So if we give it a path where we want it to be created, we'll put it in my repos folder where I put all of my repos, and we'll call it, let's say, app. So if we go to that folder now in my repos, we have a folder in here called app. In here we just have this .git folder. That is where all of your branches and all your hooks are stored. You don't ever want to modify this file. If you do, very bad things will happen. So the next important command that we should go over is git status. So if we look in here, the Git repo has three areas. We have the working directory, we have the staging area, and I guess in the Git repo. So the working directory is like if you don't have any of the files in the Git repo at all. The staging area is where files have been added to the Git repo, but they haven't been committed to actually be saved into it yet. And then in the Git repo, I guess, is where all of the files have actually been saved into it. So if we run git add and we do dot, that'll add all of the files in the current working directory into the staging area. So if we run git status again, then we can see that text has changed to blue. Oh, sorry, green. Apparently I don't know what colors are. So then if we run git commit, this will actually save the changes into the Git repo. So this will bring up a text buffer where we can add a message in here. So the way it's done is you add a short message on your first line, then you put a line gap, and then you write a longer message in here. It doesn't matter. You should probably put something more important in there. Okay, so now that we have a file actually committed, we can run git log. This will keep track of all the changes that have actually happened in your Git repo. So as we can see, we've got our commit in there. I don't tend to use this, but if you want to, you could also run git log -- one line, and that will give you a much shorter version of it. I have a bash alias for a version of git log with a bunch of options to it, which will make it much prettier. So if we run that, I'll put this in the description below if you guys want to use it. Okay, so if we make some changes to that .gitignore file that we made before, then let's just add some junk in here, it doesn't matter. Now what we're going to run is git diff. This will let us look at the changes compared to the last time the file was committed. So as we can see, there's a new line that has been added, and if we had deleted a line, there would be a minus sign in red if you have color set up. If you don't, then you're not going to be able to see the colors, obviously. Okay, so now we're going to look at removing changes from the staging area. So if we add that file that we just modified, then if we run git status, we can make sure that's actually in the staging area. So there's two ways we can do this. We can do the option that is suggested here, or we can do what I've been doing for a while. I'm going to go over what I've been doing and then do it the other way. So if we go git reset head, this is how I have been doing it. I don't know which is safer. They both seem to do roughly the same thing, so I don't really think it matters what you do. So now we can see that that file is no longer in the staging area. So if we re-add it, now we can run the other command that it suggests. So if we do git restore -- staged, and then if we do a asterisk, this will just wildcard search everything that's in the staging area, and now we can see that it's been removed. So the next thing they're going to do is actually discarding any changes that are in the working directory. So that once again, there's two ways to do this. So we can check out the current branch that we're on, or we can use restore. So to do checkout, it would be like this. So this will check out the current working directory, or the current folder. Or we can do the option that it suggests, and that is like this. I think you can do either, actually, it works. So we're going to do the wildcard. And now that we can see in here, our changes are gone. So there's no way to recover those changes, so only ever clean out your working directory if you're absolutely sure you don't want those changes, like you've done something that you have no idea how to fix. So next we're going to look at how to work with branches. So if we do git checkout -b, this will let us create a new branch and also check it out. So if we give it, let's say, new branch as its name, as you can see on here, my prompt I've switched to new branch. So if we want to get back to the master branch, which is the branch we were on before, by default when you create a Git repo, you start on the master branch. So if we want to check that out, we can go git checkout master, and now we're back on the master branch. So you'd want to do branches when, say you want to test out something new, like you want to add some new feature that may break some other stuff, and you don't want to actually break those features, or say, I don't know, you have a testing branch that you only bring in those changes when you want to do testing. So if you want to delete a branch, then we can do git branch -d. And I think you should make sure you're not on the branch, otherwise it's going to complain that you're on it. I think there's another option to actually delete it, actually force a delete if you're on the branch, but you're better off just being on a different branch. So now that branch has been deleted. So the last thing that we have to cover is working with a remote. So I've gone and off camera created a Git repo. So the first command that we're going to do is run git add origin. So what this does is it basically tells our local repo where to send changes to. So if we copy that in, so git remote add origin. Origin can be anything. You can call that's just a tag for you to use from your side, and then the URL of the Git repo. So if we run that, now we've added the remote. Okay, so now we can do git push origin master. So it's going to prompt me for a username and password. So now that's done, then we can have a look on my Git repo, and if we reload this page, we can see that that change has now been committed. Okay, so the easiest way to demonstrate this next part is to just do it from our remote. So if we come in here and just create a new file, doesn't matter what it's called, put some junk in here. So what we're going to demonstrate is pulling. So this will let you bring down any changes that have been made to the remote. It's a lot harder to test this because there's only one user here and I would have to go through a bunch of steps, so we're just going to change it from the remote. So if we go git pull origin, and then the branch that we're pulling, so if we want to pull the master branch, then that'll pull those changes down. Okay, so even though this isn't directly a remote command, I've decided to put it in the remote section because you're mainly going to be using it then, and that is git merge. So if you run git checkout -b, this will let us create a new branch, so we're going to call it a name. You can't have spaces in your branch names in case you hadn't worked that out already. So now we're swapped onto that branch. And say we want to merge the master branch into it. We can do that by doing git merge master and then the name of the branch that we want to merge it into. And because we haven't made any changes to it, then that's not going to actually be able to do anything. Okay, so the final command that we're going to run is git clone. This will let you copy a Git repo, which this is probably the most important thing when working for a business because you're usually not going to be creating the repo yourself. You're going to be copying whatever already exists and then working from that. So if we come to a random other Git repository I have, this is just my st fork, and we copy this link that's in here and we cd out of the current repo because you probably could have a repo in a repo. I just don't feel like doing it. So if we run git clone and then put in that URL, that will copy all of those changes and put them into a folder copying everything that that repo had. So now if we cd into that, we can see that we have all of those changes that are in that repo. So I think that's pretty much everything for this video. I didn't go over everything that Git has, like rebasing, but I didn't use rebasing in the entire 7 months that I was working my last job, so I don't think rebasing is too important. So if you like this video, remember to like and subscribe and hit the little bell icon below if you want to see more from my channel. I've got a Twitter account where I post video updates, and that's pretty much it. And if you learned something from this video, remember to leave a comment letting me know what you think about it, and if you didn't, or you want to leave a suggestion about something I could do better next time, then let me know that as well. So that's everything for me, so I'm out.